lethal plots inside Canada, and a growing spy race in the Arctic. Iran, Russia, and China are pushing deeper into Canada's security sphere. And Ottawa's spy chief is now speaking publicly about the danger. Tonight, we open with the warnings shaping Canada's most pressing intelligence battles. Canada's Domestic Intelligence Service says it has disrupted potentially lethal threats linked to Iran, marking the first public confirmation that Ottawa has intervened to protect critics of Tehran living inside the country. In a rare public address, Dan Rogers, director of the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, said the agency had to shift priorities this year to counter what he described as actions by Iranian intelligence services and their proxies.
Particularly, in alarming cases over the last year, we've had to reprioritize our operations to counter the actions of Iranian intelligence services and their proxies who have targeted individuals they perceive as threats to their regime. In more than one case, this involved detecting, investigating, and disrupting potentially lethal threats against individuals in Canada.
Canada cut diplomatic ties with Iran in 2012, and last year listed the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization, a designation that drew condemnation from Tehran. Canada's Domestic Intelligence Service says Russia and China have a significant intelligence interest in the Arctic, targeting both federal institutions and the private sector as the region grows in strategic value.
This year, CSIS took action to prevent this by informing several Canadian companies that Europe-based front companies seeking to acquire their goods were in fact connected to Russian agents. These companies not only took immediate action to deny the Russians their success, but they also expressed gratitude and interest in working together to counter any future Russian activity. Canada is a proud Arctic nation, and the global Arctic has become a theater of increased interest due to its economic and strategic potential. Non-Arctic states, including the People's Republic of China, seek to gain a strategic and economic foothold in the region. Russia, an Arctic state with a significant military presence in the region, remains unpredictable and aggressive. Both of these countries, and others, have a significant intelligence interest in our Arctic, and those who influence or develop its economic or strategic potential. It's no surprise, then, that CSIS has observed both cyber and non-cyber intelligence collection efforts targeting both governments and the private sector in the region. So what are we doing? Well, we collect intelligence to identify any state activity that's counter to Canada's national interest. We engage significantly with Indigenous, Arctic, and Northern partners across Canada to develop awareness of what we observed and to learn from their insights. In essence, we're positioning ourselves to partner and defend Canada's interests whenever it becomes necessary.
Canada has highlighted rapidly opening Arctic routes and rich deposits of critical minerals as key reasons to increase investment in the region. The federal budget includes a $1 billion Canadian Arctic Infrastructure Fund, and the government is weighing the purchase of new patrol submarines and expanding its fleet of heavy icebreakers. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand recently said NATO must devote greater attention to the Arctic, arguing the alliance should look beyond its eastern flank and strengthen its focus on the north. Rogers also noted that Russian procurement networks attempted to acquire Canadian technologies, prompting CSIS to alert companies and prevent illicit transfers.